Audi's understated Q5 continues its subtle conquest of the premium mid-sized SUV sector. This second-generation model is lighter and more likeable, with a more sensible Quattro system, loads of advanced technology and a beautifully practical interior crafted in Audi's own inimitable style. In short, if you can afford it, you'd like one.
So, what is this Q5 like on the move? There's, after all, plenty that's different here. The all-new MLB Evo platform underpinning fresh petrol engines, a revised range of transmissions, and fresh semi-autonomous driving technology. There's also a completely different on-demand Quattro with ultra technology four-wheel drive setup for most models, and if you want it, even an optional air suspension system that does wonders for this car's off-road ability. Even ordinary models now get an extra off-road setting in the standard Drive Select vehicle dynamic system that improves their off-piste prowess. In short, don't be deceived by the mildly evolved looks into believing that things will be much the same as before. The lighter chassis certainly makes the car feel a little more agile through the corners, although to some extent the dynamic improvements are somewhat masked by the same rather vague level of steering feel that characterised the previous generation model. Engine-wise, most people will choose one of the four-cylinder variants, probably the efficient 190 PS 2-litre TDI diesel that we're trying here, which manages 56.5 mpg on the combined cycle and 132 grams per kilometre of CO2. It transmits torque to the tarmac via a standard 7-speed S-tronic auto gearbox that's mated to that on-demand Quattro Ultra four-wheel drive setup, as does the alternative four-cylinder model, 252 PS 2-litre TFSI petrol variant. The prodigious power of the V6 derivatives, though, requires a different approach. Now, for these, Audi is stuck with the previous permanent Quattro system and paired it with a beefier 8-speed Tiptronic auto gearbox. Now, here there are two 3-litre options, a 286 PS 3-litre TDI diesel or a 354 PS 3-litre TFSI petrol unit, the latter power plant reserved for the potent flagship SQ5 model. If at first glance you're tempted to conclude that this second generation Q5 is merely a mild evolution of its predecessor, then we would understand. And then we'd ask you to look again. This Mark II model is significantly longer than its predecessor was and slightly taller too. Perhaps more importantly though, it's a leaner, tauter, more sophisticated looking thing. An SUV with a sense of purpose. Getting into the front seat, well, that is predictably easy thanks to the raised ride height you get in this kind of SUV. And once inside, what's delivered up is a masterclass of interior quality and ergonomics. The cabin's larger too. Audi claims this Q5 to be class-leading in terms of shoulder width and elbow room, and you'll absolutely feel that, especially if you come to this car familiar with its predecessor. Anything you can't see through the steering wheel will almost certainly be covered by the slimline MMI infotainment display that, well, dominates the top of the dashboard. As standard though, it comes in 7-inch size like this one with a matte black frame and includes useful Audi smartphone interface with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone connectivity. Now it's time to turn our attention to the rear and start with the option that every Q5 should come with, what Audi calls its Rear Bench Seat Plus feature. Now this lets you slide the base back and forth by 12 centimetres to either increase legroom or luggage space, and also alter the backrest angle through 3 stages for greater long-distance comfort. Now let's take a look at the boot. Now, thanks to this second generation model's 34mm of extra body length, it's been possible to increase carriage capacity by 10 litres this time around, so a 550 litre space is now on offer. Completely flattening the rear bench frees up 1,550 litres of total storage space. The Q5 has always been a top seller on merit, and nothing's changed. It isn't a car for extremes, but if you're looking for a contender in this segment, it's extremely difficult to ignore.